Okay, we're going to be watching AyyLmao playing Plat 5. I think this is PC on Antarctic Peninsula. So both of these games were losses. The one on Antarctic Peninsula I felt was very winnable, and for the one in Midtown, I was pretty tilted and we are getting a bit rolled. After watching back the VODs, I noticed when I get limbs or damage in, I tend to want to rush in and finish the kill. Sometimes it works out, but sometimes it doesn't. I'm wondering if I should be focusing on changing my playstyle for Hanzo. I did try strictly flanking for a while last season, but I felt like there were more times when I would get picked off quickly or a whole team would get killed before I could do much. I guess any tips would be beneficial. So, yeah, I mean, let's take a look. I haven't done a DPS review in a while, so I figured I'd throw some of these in. So for Hanzo, for people who are not aware, just talking a little bit about breakpoints. So Hanzo arrow fully charged does 125 damage. It's like 25 or 27 if you don't charge it at all, which is useless. Headshots do double damage, so a fully charged shot will still one-shot Reaper and May, who have 250 health. He'll one-shot a Cassidy, who's 225. For storm arrows, you get 5 arrows that come out instantly. They do 65 damage each. So 5 times 65 is 330 damage. That's the primary way that you confirm kills. Like if you body shot somebody for 125, you can storm arrow and then double tap them right away to kill them. You can also use it to melt tanks, but it cannot headshot. So something to think about. So what I'm going to be looking for here is A, are you putting yourself in good position to get kills? B, are you able to stay alive? And C, are you able to get kills, right? So it's basically starting with, are you in the right position to have opportunities to get kills? Is the enemy team pressuring you to the point that you die, or you are way too aggressive? And number 3, do you have the mechanical skill to actually get the kills? Because if you don't, then it's not gonna matter. At the end of the day, it's still a shooter, right? You still have to land shots. So second you realize there's a ball, you should basically ignore him unless he makes a mistake. You don't do a lot of damage. I think your regular damage there with your bow does like 100 damage a second when you fully charge it, which is terrible. That's like support level damage. Storm arrows is good, right? Storm arrows is like 270, and I looked it up right before the game. It's like 270 damage per second, which is excellent. So you can melt the ball pretty quickly if he makes a mistake. But if he doesn't, I wouldn't worry too much about it, and mostly I would be concerned if the ball was going to hunt me. You're a very, very good target for a ball to hunt. You don't have great mobility. You're just like the one smallish dash. If he slams you, pretty good chance he can kill you. So you want to avoid the ball while killing the rest of his team, and then save the ball for last, if at all possible. I think this is a pretty good angle. I don't feel like I don't think anybody's played enough Antarctic Peninsula to really understand like how to play the map in a similar way to like New Queen Street and Coliseum when they first came out, but I think this is a good angle to be taking. I do like this. That clearly is a bad Sonic arrow. I thought that the second you shot it, I'm like, you should have shot that into this wall, or preferably this wall. The moment that you shot the Sonic arrow past them, they immediately know where you are. Right? You should have just shot it into the close wall right here. You see how they don't. The second you shoot that, like the Hanzo immediately knows where you are. I'm actually curious if he reads this in real time. Right, so he's just shooting. He has no idea. Did he see it? Gotta figure out the exact timing here. It seems weird that I'm probably dwelling on this, but I think it is important because, especially as like a quote-unquote sniper, you really don't want to give away your position for free because it makes it much harder for you to get kills and much easier for them to kill you. So I can't tell for sure if he saw it, but the fact that he comes around looking like this, I feel like he definitely saw it. Standing still like this is suicide. So for starters, I would start with, are you familiar with Peeker's advantage? And I ask this question rhetorically because you can't actually answer me. But Peeker's advantage is you can look it up. It's a very common concept that exists in all FPS games. And the idea is that whoever peeks first, right, whoever comes around the corner actually has an advantage to the person who holds the corner. The reason being is due to latency. So on your computer, you already know, your game knows that the Hanzo is there. Like you as a human being may not know it, but the game knows that they're there. Because when you turn the corner, the game doesn't ask the server, is there a Hanzo there? Oh, there is? Render it. The game already knows. This is the reason why like map hacks work, is because your game actually does know where everybody is. They just hide it by using the terrain. So if you peek, you come around the corner and you already see the Hanzo, which means you can see him and shoot before the enemy Hanzo even sees you on their screen. Right? It depends on how big the latency difference is, but you have something at least 1/10 of a second of a difference, which can make a big difference in shooter games, right? If there's a higher latency, it could be even more than that. So holding a corner like this, especially with a non-hit scan weapon, is actual suicide, because whoever peeks here will see the other one first, right? Excluding like a sonic arrow situation where you can pre-fire them. So he will see you first and then be able to release before you can even react. Even if you had instant reflexes, like literally like aimbot reflexes, he could still fire before you could shoot. Okay? So that's even worse when you're standing still and he can fire the projectile and like go back in instantly before you can even react, because that arrow would be literally in the air before you could release yours and you'd already be dead. So I would never hard hold an angle like this as Hanzo. I think it's really important to be evasive and change up your angles. So in this situation, once you recognize, like the Hanzo already seen you here. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why like doing DPS videos reviews is like really tough, because you have to go through so many mechanics about FPS games that are a lot more important. As tanks, it doesn't matter, because like if I peek a corner poorly, you can easily recover from that, and supports typically don't care about this. But for DPS characters, stuff like this matters a lot. It makes a huge difference between better and worse DPS players, is to understand like angle control and how to play these out, right? The second the Hanzo, like, you missed that arrow, that's fine, that's a good arrow, right? Like, he clearly did not seem to really be reacting to that, or was a bad peek. But the second you realize that he looks at you, because you can tell he's looking at you again, you should have repositioned to the right and then shot this way, or climbed over the top and shot this way, or simply have gone back, right, and then peeked from a farther away angle, right, at a different timing. So you have some options here, but trying to just hold this angle is absolutely crazy. I think you're spending far too much time just holding your... It's funny, we spent a lot of time. We were only like 10 seconds of this video. You're spending a lot of time holding your bow, where I think you just want to find more opportunities to get more shots in. Okay? I think, again, like, if you feel like you want to take this duel, like, go ahead and take the duel, but don't just hold the arrow, like, waiting for somebody to peek. Because if I'm the Cassidy here, right, I come out, I jiggle peek, I bait the arrow, then I walk out and I kill you. What are you going to do to stop this, right? He's going to walk up here, he's going to stick at you, and you're going to die. There's nothing you can do to stop that. Like, you got to be a lot more active here. Good. Right, so I think it's a fair choice right here to just sonic this pillar right away, just to figure out which side the supports are going to peek from to kill this Ana quicker. Like, I think you're just holding... It feels like you had sonic and then you thought about shooting it, but then you decided to try to go for the kill. You should sonic this right away, right, with like, you know, not even a half-charge shot, and then immediately try to kill the Ana after that. So this is just straight missing. So this Ana's in the open field. I would expect, I mean, this is low plat, right? So in low plat, I would expect you to hit somewhere between 1 and 2 out of 5 arrows here. If you were, is that true? I would expect you to hit 2 arrows here. I think that's fair, right? 2 arrows on an open field Ana, I think that's fair. I think if you were diamond, I would expect you to hit 3. But I would expect you to hit 2 here. So how many do you actually hit? 1? Or rather, miss. This is easy. That's a really easy hit once she jumps. Miss. So you're 0 for 5 there, and that's about as good an opportunity as you're going to regularly get. So I already feel like the aim here is an issue, right? 0 for 5 on Ana stuck in the open jumping, that's not good, right? In terms of being able to climb, like, you got to hit those shots. At least some of the shots to put some pressure on her, right? As the Sigma, you know, your Sigma's doing a job, right? He's basically zoned off the Hanzo and the Mercy, okay? He's playing with the DPS here. The Ana was stuck out in the open. Like, that's your time to shine, you know? The tank did a lot of work to get you in this position, in addition to also flushing that Cassidy away from you to help you get the kill. Like, it's your job to now get that kill on that Ana. Okay, so you dash. Again, I think a reasonable shot here, but... You miss another shot, you miss another shot, and then you die. Which, you know, obviously the ball hunts you down eventually. So if we track back here, right, starting from the beginning of this fight, you're going to come out, and I think, again, initial sonic was bad, so zero, in fact, negative value from that, because you revealed your location, right? Miss, hold way too, like, you could have gotten quite a few shots into, for example, the Cassidy, who's right next to you. I actually didn't realize this until... before. I can't hear very well in the replay because I have the sound turned down. But this Cassidy is right next to you. You could have just Storm Arrow and then kill this Cassidy instantly. Like your soldier is having this like super intense fight with the Cassidy at point blank while you're just holding the angle here. And this is what I mean by being active in general, is that you're just not being active. Like keep rotating, looking around for fights. This Cassidy should be 100% dead right now. With you and the soldier there, he should be dead. There's no way this Cassidy should have lived. Right? But again, tracking back from here. So, Sonic Arrow is a miss. Right? Miss. Way too long doing absolutely nothing. Right? 0 for 2. Right? Great. 1 for 3. One for 4, 1 for 5. I mean, we know you miss all these. So, 1 for 9, I think. 1 for 10. 1 for 11. And then you die. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to win games. You hit 1 arrow out of 11. And, you know, you'd be like, oh, well, it's tough. Like, how do I, you know, what am I supposed to do? Hit all my shots? Not even. Like, I think if you even hit a third of your shots, it would be a massive improvement on this first fight. And you might be like, oh, sometimes I hit more shots. But the thing about climbing is consistent value added, right? No one's expecting you to carry. No one's saying like, oh, like you want to hit 10 for 11 or whatever, and you don't have to hit that many to win, but you got to do something, right? At a minimum, I think killing the Cassidy would have been like a clear, easy play that you should have both heard and recognized, right? Killing the Cassidy later was fine, because I mean, Sigma already did a good chunk of damage and you just body shotted him, but completely whiffing the Ana here puts zero pressure on the Ana. Also remember is that if I'm the Ana situation and I see you whiff those shots at me, I'm going to be a lot more aggressive because I think you're not very good, to be perfectly honest, right? I'm going to be a lot more aggressive in terms of trying to challenge you, attack you, heal my teammates. But if I come out here and you blow me up with 2 arrows, I immediately run back to cover and I play safe, which means I'm not healing, I'm not damaging, I'm not throwing nades, I'm not throwing sleeps. You have to put a lot more pressure on the team. Like you guys are going to basically get steamrolled in this fight. And despite the fact that Cassidy was like way out of position, and a big part of that is you simply add no value in this fight. Your Sonic, you also don't Sonic. Neither of your Sonics give your team any value, right? The first one completely whiffs, right? And the second one you could have used to Sonic the Ana to help your Sigma track down the kill. Alright, ball's in. So you pop Storm Arrows here, which I don't think is a great option unless the ball is going to stop and start shooting. Like I would not pop Storm Arrows until he pops into hamster form, right? Crab form. Once he pops crab form, yeah, now I can just shoot him because I don't want him just to just like blow me up or a support. But I don't pop Storm Arrows until he stops rolling. Because if he just rolls through and rolls away and I pop Storm Arrows, that's a big waste. You know, that's not good value. If he stops right now I'll blow him up with Storm Arrows. But even now, look at your Storm Arrows. Okay, so he's gonna roll in. So you pop Storm Arrows, you already missed the first one on a ball who's in your face, right? 2, 3, that hits, 4, 5. You just missed 4 out of 5 Storm Arrows on a ball who's literally point blank in your face. And you might say, oh, well, like I got bumped by the ball. Well, but don't activate Storm Arrows until your bump is over, right? And then now it's a super easy kill. Quote unquote kill. You're not going to kill him no matter what. But at least to force him off. If I'm the ball in this situation, you're not forcing me to respect you at all as a DPS, right? I'm like, cool, I can roll it here against the Hanzo, right? Who's a good burst damager, right? At close range with Storm Arrows. I can just roll it here because you can't hit shots, you know? Like this ball's sticking around because you can't hit shots. And because of that, he's able to keep shooting you, which forces your support to stay here and focus you to keep you alive, forces out the Ana grenade, and now he just walks away. And while this is happening, the rest of your team is fighting a 3-on-4, you know, on point, without you doing anything, because you can't hit shots, right? If you blew up that ball for 330 damage, I guarantee you he would immediately leave. You'd be like, nope, don't want any piece of this, right? 330 plus the fully powered shot you should have landed, so that's 455, right? He would leave right away if you did that. Right? Much better Storm Arrow accuracy, but the problem is right now is not a great situation for me shooting him. Okay, Minefield's already deployed, the ball has full health, he's popped Adaptive Shield, and he's with his team. This Storm Arrow isn't going to do anything, right? You're going to pop into, see, he just rolls away. Like, you hit 4 for 5 here, but that's not the time where hitting him is going to do anything. And recognizing when damage is relevant is important. Okay, you're not even getting ult charge here because green health is his over health, which in Overwatch 2 prevents you from getting ult charge from hitting him. So you're not even getting ult charge here. Like, this is not a good value right here. I would probably just step back, okay, and then rotate and like drop and look for more value over here, because this minefield isn't doing anything. This is a bad minefield. You know, it's not preventing you from doing anything. It's not going to kill anybody, right? Everybody is outside of this minefield. The soldier's taking an off angle. It's not your job to deal with this ball, right? Just go, rotate, look for kills on people who are actually killable. The more time you spend fighting the ball, the better it is for the ball. That's what the ball wants. The ball wants you to chase him all game long, trying to kill him. Right? That's a good kill, right? Got the headshot. I don't know that it was meant for the end. It looked like it was meant for the Cassidy, but we'll take it. So you have a headshot opportunity right here on the sleeping Cassidy. You need to hit the Cassidy. Ugh, okay, you gotta get killed Hanzo. Alright, so you got 2 out of this. 1 got rezzed. That's a tough storm arrow angle. I understand, but like this is really hard. I think I'd probably just fire a regular one and then step up and use storm arrow. So they're down 1 right now. You should look to be aggressive. Yep, go for the Cassidy here. See, imagine if you had storm arrow right now. If you had storm arrow right now, you walk to the right, you just blow up this Cassidy because he's not even dodging you, he's dodging the Sigma. So it's relatively easy to get the kill here. Right, you kill the Cassidy. The problem is this fight is kind of over already because you lost your tank. Right? This is a great example where if you can do a lot of damage or even get kills, but if they're not the right times, it doesn't matter. Getting kills after your Sigma dies is not as valuable. But you do kill a ball here. This is good, right? And this is a great example of how blowing up the ball when he's overextended is value. He doesn't have adaptive shields right now, very clearly. He's trying to overextend and kill your soldier. Does a ton of damage, and then you kill him, right? That's good value. So at this point, I would probably aggress and try to take the point, right? Because you're up at 2 at least. And I think you can walk forward. If you need to, you can just drag in like this and force them off point. But I definitely think you want to take space right now and basically play like a tank. Ugh. That's a little too aggressive. So what you want to do is you want to play the corner, right? Walking out into the open here causes you to just get blown up. And your team clearly isn't ready. Like, even if Kiriko was killing you, it would have been hard for her to keep up with this. Like, this Hanzo's aim is just too good here. Right? He's going to hit you with the body shot and then finish with storm arrows, right? 1, and then he kills you with storm arrows. It's very hard for a support to save you in that situation. You die way too fast. You have to play the corner there, right? And then, again, if you don't feel comfortable like winning this fight, just drag it, right? Just drag it right here, and it's gonna split the team. They're either gonna die because you expect the supports to be here. They're either gonna die or they're gonna have to split up. But I think this is a very sloppy death in this situation. But I think your team is going to take your team's gonna take this anyways. To be fair, I mean you got kills there, right? You got three kills there, so that definitely helps your team win the fight for sure. But I think there's still a lot of sloppiness. So again, not a great Sonic, right? I think you want to land a Sonic here, right? Or here to be able to see these chokes. And part of that's probably just map knowledge, understanding where the Sonic will add value. It's unlikely that your team needs a Sonic for right here. You know what I mean? Like, there aren't people on the point your team can already see. I don't think that this is good value out of Sonic. And now you have to wait another 12 seconds or whatever the cooldown is. So I think it's good recognition. I think you probably heard it over here. But the thing is, this would be a great angle to play, right? Just wait, like hold the angle here. Also imagine if you had Sonic right now. Hold the angle right here and then try to kill him when he comes in. Look at where you actually end up standing. As soon as this Cassidy comes in, if you miss this headshot, then what? Right? He kills you in 3 shots. You know? It's so hard here. Like, you put so much pressure on yourself to have to win this duel. Right, against a pocketed Mercy at that. Like, you basically have to hit a headshot here, or else you're gonna die. I think this is crazy. I think that Hanzo, if it was out with Cassidy, I would keep fighting there because I would be like, I'm gonna kill you. Unless you hit the headshot there, I'm 100% gonna kill you. So, like, once again, the general feel, like, I understand the flank, but I think your Sonic arrow is misplaced, for starters. I think it's a general trend. I think sometimes you activate Sonic and then you're like, oh, I want to shoot it like a regular attack. But I think you shouldn't use Sonic until you're ready to fire it for information. Don't toggle the Sonic and then hold it and like wait and think, right? Decide when you walk up, you're like, I'm going to Sonic and just Sonic. So for example, I think a Sonic right here would have been a great option, right? It would have revealed if people are coming this way, and it at least partially reveals probably out to here-ish when the people are going main. And then you could have taken the off angle safely. But you don't do that, and instead, your Sonic arrow is mistimed, and now you try sneaking here, despite the fact that you saw the Cassidy here earlier. And if you see the Cassidy, like, does this feel like a good fight for you? This is a fight you lose like 90% of the time. There's almost no way you should win this fight. You have to hit a headshot at close range faster than he does one sticky, one body shot. Right? This is not a good fight for you. Even if you were outside of sticky range, like let's say you were here, he still kills you in 3 shots and you can easily escape. If you're here, this is okay because you could like jump up and it's hard for him to kill you, right? With 3 body shots in the situation. But like you put yourself at an enormous disadvantage, which takes yourself out of the fight right away. Like if I'm the Cassidy here, like I don't think he had any idea you were here. I think he was just being like, oh, I don't want to go main, so I'm gonna just go to the left. And he's like, wait, there's a Hanzo here, right? He's like, okay, cool, you're dead. He didn't even bother shooting the 3rd shot because he realized he landed sticky. You can't throw away your life like this, you know? Like, recognizing that, taking the off angle was okay, but only if you had the information to do so. If you didn't have the information to do so, you could have played over here, right, on point. There's a lot of possible angles that you could take to potentially add more value versus trying to take these, like, close-range fights. You're just not the right hero for it. If you're playing Reaper, you're playing Cassidy, right, go ahead. Yeah, sure, take those fights. If you're playing Tracer. But as Hanzo, you need to make good use of your range and constant one-shot potential. Once again, I think it's absolutely crazy to stand still like pretty much ever and hold an angle like this. Alright, ball's gonna roll into you, that's fine. Right, you're at the mega. I don't know why you don't keep shooting there, right? Like, I don't think you have a well-tuned sense of danger. I think you're like, oh shoot, I gotta escape. But no, this is actually a great time to keep shooting him. His adaptive shields are over, you have a support with you, and you're close to your spawn. There's no way this ball kills you. Like, I don't care if this ball was like a GM ball, he's not going to kill you in this situation. You should be shooting him to farm ulti / force him back. You know? Like, this is not the time for you to be like, oh, let me get away. No, you're fine. Also, I would have gotten fully healed before coming up. Like, you're at 181 health, I would definitely pick up this mini. Like, you'd be surprised at whether or not that is going to make a difference in damage. So your team's not going to be able to touch, but also a dragon here diagonally would have been like about the best dragon that you could get. Alright, so you lost first round. Again, I would say like you have really cold spells where you do almost nothing. You pick bad engagements, you pick bad angles, you hold bad angles. Your accuracy is not particularly good, and your decision for when to use Storm Arrow is not particularly good. Like, for example, like when I contrast to like the other Hanzo, like, and I'm like, hey, look, this is a really good time for the Hanzo to pop in, you know, where you overextend on point, right? You overextend on point. He hits the body shot, and immediately you see the muscle memory kick in, right? The moment he hits the body shot, he pops Storm Arrow because he recognizes he hit the body shot, and you're in the open, right? There's no way that you can avoid him at this point. All he has to do is hit 2 out of 5 arrows, and you're dead. You know? And you jump, which makes it even easier for him to land the shot. Because jumping makes it easier to hit people, not harder, which is also something that you'll learn more so as you play the game. Okay, so let's look at round 2 here. Looks like you win round 2, which is nice. So I think the Sonic is probably too far, right? I would probably put it closer, just because this Sonic really only helps if they're coming out this choke, or if they're playing further back. But a lot of times they're just gonna hug this and go this way. So I think you want the Sonic like closer here, or even here, because high ground is the most important part of this point on the left. So you really want to be able to see that. Yep, I think this is a reasonable time to Storm Arrow, right? Just force the ball away. Like, you really have no choice. Like, this is a good, yeah, I think hunting the Ana there is good. If she's going to scope, you can punish for that. Right? Good shot. Right? Good Sonic. Oh, you should have reshot that. So you end up getting the kill, but... So, this shot's fine, right? Then right here, you should have launched it before you got to cover. Right here, straight line, is where I would have fired another. But it's a good flick to get it, right? You see the ball is low, which is great, right? Which is because you injured him earlier with Storm Arrow, right? That accumulated, he never got enough healing to offset that. That's why the Storm Arrow here is super valuable. This is a bad peak right now, because you can see the Ana already tagged you, and the ball is coming for you. So I would get behind cover to make it hard for the ball to hit me with Fireball. Then you pop Storm Arrow, and then you shoot the pillar. I feel like there's some muscle memory confusion. I feel like you saw the ball coming, you're like, okay, I'll blow him with Storm Arrow, but then you get indecisive and try to maybe go for the supports here, like maybe the Resing Mercy. But none of these shots are on target with the like. These don't have a prayer hitting the Mercy because you just shut the wall. I think. I mean, this is tough. I don't think if the ball's coming for you like that, I don't think it's your job. At this point, I don't think you can realistically kill the Mercy. I mean, you can go to left and try to get the shot, but with the ball coming at you, I think it also would have been fine. Definitely don't pop Storm Arrows here. I think your only shot was a left-hand side headshot peek, followed by turn and blow up the ball. Right here with my supports with me, I would just turn, right, and just like AD strafe while killing the ball. The ball only has 348 health, right? You would do 335 damage, forcing him to pop adaptive shields, then he would have about 240 health left, and then possibly killable by your team. You should just focus the ball down. The ball is your primary target there. So, ball popped adaptive shields. I can tell that he's still low, right? So I would definitely think about hitting him with a body shot here because adaptive shields didn't give him enough. Mercy's low. Yep. Reasonable shot. Yep. Good story. See, that's a good Storm Arrow usage, right? I think that's good. I don't think you're fully charging your shot, in which case you're going to do way less damage. It's hard to tell, though. I don't play Hanzo enough to know the timing perfectly, but to me it felt like you were shooting a little too fast. I think it's the right call here to look for picks as long as you don't get picked. Yeah, that's great, right? You Sonic, you knew where he was, great headshot. This is one of the reasons why I say never stand still in Overwatch. Because you see that Reaper's like, oh, I'm totally safe, and then he dies. Same thing for you, right? You'll be surprised that sometimes when you die. Like, you literally want to die in a game like 5 times or less. Every single game, no matter what happens, no matter how long the game lasts, you want to die 5 times or less, all right? I think in a game where you die like 3 times or less, you almost always are going to win. And games where you die like, 7 to 10 times, those games you usually are going to lose. So this is a good example of Storm Arrow usage, right? I like this, right? So Junkrat Queen comes up, you try to blow him up with her up with Storm Arrows. You miss some of them, but like that's okay, right? The decision making here is good. I don't like the fact that you jumped away though, because you should recognize this Junkrat Queen is way out of position. You see your soldier here, right? You probably feel your supports here. You know your tanks up front. This Junkrat Queen is way overextended. I know you see this cleave, but she's already kind of pretty far away. I think just walking backwards would have been fine. And recognizing that she should die very quickly here. I don't think you need to kite that. Yep, go for backline. I'd Sonic that, right? Help your team out. Just firing Sonic here, and they can tell, hey, where are they going? Be helpful. You're not going to need Sonic again for a little bit. Anyway, so you can just fire it for free. I think it's good Sonic. I think you're playing too close now. Right? Here was fine. Here, not good. And that seems like a very small difference, but it's a big difference. Like, if that javelin hit you right there, you could have died, right? I would say you probably would have died right there if that javelin hit you. Okay, Dragon. Okay, Dragon. I think what I would do is I would lean it to the right to make sure this whole door frame is filled. Because I don't want to give... Like, regardless of what happens over here, I want to make absolutely sure I don't die to whoever's here. And forcing Dragon is going to immediately cause Reaper to Wraith at a minimum. But if I fire it too far to the left, the Reaper might simply walk through it and then come kill me. Especially because of how close this is. So also when you jumped away, you should have jumped diagonally sideways to minimize your profile. Because you see when he comes around the corner, you're fully exposed. Yeah, the Reaper just jumps through this. You are quite lucky to hit this headshot here. Also that he misses. You should be dead. See? That miss right there, he should have killed you. Plus he whiffed one on the way down, but I understand that. This shot should be a killing shot. There's no way that he should have missed this shot. But he ends up missing most of it, and then you end up getting that kill. But you should be dead here. A testament to my skill. So like stuff like that is just play you have to clean up, right? Don't even put yourself into those disadvantageous positions where a Reaper can kill you in that situation. That's good flick. Right, keep the pressure on. Right, every pick you get, that's another 10-15 seconds off the clock. Right, I like this off angle. Definitely grab the mini here first, or tap X, right, for your team to heal you. Because your team has plenty of capacity right there to have healed you, right? They're not busy or anything, they just don't notice. So just tap X there, make sure your team heals you. Stay topped up. Right? It's not rude to tap it once. Because getting fully healed is important to prevent yourself from getting one shot. This is a tough angle, right? This is like a kind of a wasted storm arrow, right? Because the railing is in the way. I would shoot the railing with a regular arrow first to break it before I do storm arrow. But also the Reaper's not committed here, you know? Like even if I start hitting shots, he just walks back. Like if he starts taking shots here, he's just gonna step back to the left and wait. I think this is a bad usage for storm arrow. Obviously, you also miss it, but like I don't think that was a good timing to do it. So like you fully power, but like I don't think this is the right time, right? I would have rotated and then got a clean shot and then started dragging, going around the corner versus just pulling it constantly. That's another great example of like where you pop Sonic but use it to try to kill people because you're not decisive enough for when you want to Sonic people. I find it very unlikely that you wanted to both simultaneously Sonic that spot and kill the Orisa with it. Like I don't think that was your plan. I think you just popped Sonic like to get information, realized the Orisa available, and then shot her. So that's good. So yeah, I mean, I think this second point. So if you see Orisa coming like this with spin, just get out. Like there's no reason. Like why are you shooting her when she has spin up? She's gonna block all the shots, and walking backwards reduces your speed by 10%. Plus you're slamming into the wall and stuff. So this slows you down by a lot. You 100% could have died here. You know, like that's just an unnecessary risk where the Orisa clearly has to get the point. Just kite her and go backwards. You know, make it hard for the opposing team to kill you. Oh, whiffing here is bad. Also, you don't need to walk closer to the Mercy here. You know, like she's going for the res. You should just be like, okay, like this way. But you see how you walk closer and closer and closer, and that's what gets you killed. It's hard. It's easier for the Junkrat to kill you because you're walking in a straight line, pulling your bow, so you're slowed, trying to shoot the Mercy. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you guys win this. Yeah, you guys win this. Oh no, actually you don't. All right, this keeps going. That's surprising. Wait. Oh man, I don't think you cap the second point then. Unless you get totally steamrolled on third. So, again, this thing where you just hold your bow down while coming around the corner, like, what if there's a Hanzo looking at you right now? I mean, granted, this game is not Hanzo, but I don't know that you like recognize that the Hanzo switched off. Like, you just come around this corner with like zero fear of like the world. See, like you just like, oh, let me just play it. Like, why don't you look first, gather information, then start pulling your bow? You're very, very vulnerable when you have your bow pulled because of the slow. And I think just understanding that will go a long way towards helping your survivability. So I know you're going for the Junkrat here, but Junkrat clearly is not trying to fight you. Like he's obviously taking cover. Meanwhile, there's both the Mercy and the Orisa who are on your screen that are vulnerable. Stop walking forwards towards this Junkrat. The closer you get, the easier it is for him to one-shot you. You know, that's like not really your job. I would just play, I would just like play back here and go for the Mercy, right? Or if the Orisa backs up, which is probably what she's going to do in a second, then you can blow her up with arrows or help against this Reaper. You have a lot of options rather than chasing a Junkrat who doesn't want to fight you, playing behind cover at close range. Like that is the worst possible fight you could be taking right now. Right? Look at everything else that's going around in your backline while you still hunt this Junkrat. You do a good job killing his tire, great. Right? But I think that's lucky that you happen to run into the situation where he happens to be tiring at that moment in time. Versus dealing with all of the other things that are swarming your team right now. Then, as I mentioned, playing at close range of Junkrat is not a good idea. Why? Because he can one-tap you like this. Really, really easily. You know? Don't play into Junkrat's strengths. Like at this range, Junkrat one-taps you like 90% of the time. At this range, maybe 40% of the time he could one-taps you. At this range, he has almost no chance at killing you. Like 5% maybe. But you still have the same chance at killing him at basically all ranges. So play to the strengths of your hero. You're like way too aggressive playing at bad ranges. Right? I think that also really stands out here is you try to take so many close range fights as Hanzo without realizing how these other heroes, Reaper, Cassidy, Junkrat, are all much better at close range than you are. You know, what is this Storm Arrow? Right? See, like that Storm Arrow makes no sense. I think what you thought was going to happen was that Reaper was going to just come around the corner, blasting, and sit out here for you to kill him. But that's not what players do. You know, if you think about it, if you were the Reaper from this perspective, you walk out and you're like, oh shoot, there's 3 people here, you just leave. You know, there's no reason to have wasted storm arrows there, and now you don't have it for 10 seconds. Is it going to be relevant? I don't know, maybe, but those are bad habits to get into. I would definitely, at this point, think about dragoning this way, just because you need to kind of make time, but make space and lower your load time. Right? Good kill on the Reaper. I think it's a dangerous, like, one of the things is, I mean, I think you do have Sonic here. So you do have Sonic, so I think that's fine. I think Sonic here, without Sonic, I think this is a suicidal hold. Because as the Reaper, right, if you miss that arrow, you die. Right? I kill you in 2, maybe 3 hits. Reasonable dragon. I don't think it's a great dragon because you're down 2. I think the dragon itself is good. The timing is all wrong. But I think you're trying to interrupt the mercy ult. So it could have been a high value play. I wouldn't personally do it because I think it's too risky. But that's my call. So Reaper's here, and you see how you walk forwards towards him. Right? You see him? Even after you see him, you see how you walk forwards. This is definitely not like, oh, you're walking forwards and then you see him. You see him and continue walking forwards, which makes this the easiest kill of this Reaper's life. Right? Wind this back. This is so easy, right? He's like, oh, you're gonna walk towards me? Great. It's so casual how quickly he kills you. You're already low. You're trying to take this close range fight. Like, you would have heard him coming. You should immediately be just jumping away and leaving. Right? Trying to take this fight is suicide, and now you're staggered. And now your team has to go in without you. Right? They don't have to, but they're going to, because this is Plat. Right? Again, it's 4 and 5. You see, your Cassidy died before you could even do anything. Now, is it Cassidy's fault? Yeah, it is Cassidy's fault. Cassidy's clearly, like, I mean, I wouldn't say overextended, because he's basically at your spawn, but the Cassidy could have made different decisions and not die here. But because you died earlier, you never had a chance to even trade for your Cassidy. You know? Because of your own poor decision making. Put you in that position. It's another example where, like, storm arrows, but, like, you see how the pillar is here? Why storm arrow around the pillar? Why not just swing to the right, and then when she's trying to run away, then go for storm arrows, where you can hit them all? There's so many of these storm arrows that you miss because you simply have no chance at hitting them. Recognize, like, when people are truly in the open, and use that opportunity to blow them up. Like, right now, imagine you had storm arrows. This Anna dies instantly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, dead. Right? Right? Great. Kill the Anna. I mean, I would say it's not great that the setup to this. Again, not having storm arrows here, like, hurts you a lot. Right? Because right there, you could have already killed her with storm arrows. Now you can kill her with storm arrows very quickly. Storm arrows is finally back up, but I agree not storm arrowing here because you don't have a good aim, good shot at her. Right? Kill her. You also could have used storm arrows there to finish her, by the way, but that's fine. Then you just spam storm arrows. Now's not good because this is the school of fish problem. Right? There's too many targets. You're not targeting any of them with the storm arrows. You see how you're just spraying kind of into the middle? Right? The Reaper was Wraith. He was the worst possible target to be shooting with storm arrows. You should have just shot normally until a target became isolated and then used that opportunity to kill them. This is, again, a very bad peak. Like, I cannot emphasize, like, at higher ranks, the Junkrat will hear you coming and be like, why is somebody trying to fight me at close range? And he'll just instantly kill you. Granted, you have overhealth here from something. What? Oh, it's rally, right? Yeah, it's rally. I was like, what the heck's giving you overhealth? So you're not quite one-shottable, but if you get damage boosted, you're one-shottable. I think that instead of trying to play that close angle, I think you just play this pillar, right? This pillar, this pillar, this pillar, all good options for you to continue to apply pressure to the team without having, like, why are you forcing this close range fight? You know? Like, just stay alive. Just stay alive. It's not your job to go and be like, oh, I want to take this point blank duel. I think that's a big mistake. Again, right? Junkrat's like, oh, you're here? Cool, I'll kill you now. Like, you're very lucky he doesn't kill you with mines here. Because he doesn't have any, that's why. Right? But again, if he had mines here, you're just dead right away. But once the Junkrat peeks you, right? Realizes you're here. Oh, okay. Cool. Right? Now he nearly kills you. Honestly, that mine should have killed you. You kill the Reaper. Great. Good. Good job holding against spin. Now you have to kill this tire to win. But yeah. Okay. So There's a lot here. um, yeah, DPS reviews are always tough because there's like a lot to it. I mean, tanks have a lot. I just do a lot more of them, so it's a little faster for me to process and say what I need to say. I think the biggest thing is understand what your hero is good at. What are the ranges you want to fight? What are the situations you want to fight? Okay? Like poke duels, like where you're here and they're over here, those are great for you because every time you fire, you have a possibility of a one shot. Okay? Fighting people up close where they're not aware of you, great, because you can storm arrow and you can kill them quickly. Blowing up a tank who doesn't have the ability to stop arrows, those are great situations for you, right? But fighting really good bursty close range heroes like Junkrat, Cassidy, not good for you, right? Fighting people at close range in general, not typically good for you, you know? Like those are the fights you should constantly be hunting out, right? Fighting people who dive you, also not good fights for you. So you continually put yourself in really hard situations where in the open, okay, like for example, if you knew a Cassidy was going to peek right here, let's say there's a enemy Cassidy about to peek right here, I feel like if you're standing here, you would just hold down your bow and be like, I got this, right? And if you miss that arrow, you die because you have no cover anywhere and you would just straight up die to this. Like you need to have a plan if you miss the shot. You can't play your whole like Overwatch career expecting to be like, if I miss the shot, I die. Like that's not reliable. Even at GM or top 500 or top 100 or whatever, people miss all the time, especially as you get higher ranks. People with better and better movement, and you're going to miss, relatively speaking, more, right, as people get better and better with their movement. So I mean, to some extent you actually hit more because your accuracy will probably increase faster than people's movement. But regardless, you need to have a plan for if I fire this shot and I do not one tap them, how do I survive to be able to attack them again? And that is a frequent thing that I see a pattern here, that you just don't have any plan. You put yourself in positions where you must hit the headshot or you die, and then you die. And then you're like, oh, well, then you can't add any value because you're dead. Okay, I think flanking is also very dangerous for you if you don't use Sonic correctly, which requires game sense and map knowledge to do. Right? Again, remember that example from the first point where you challenged the Cassidy, who was really surprised. Like you had the full advantage of surprise, and he just killed you easily. It's not that the Cassidy was a better player than you necessarily. It's just mechanically much easier for Cassidy to kill than Hanzo in that situation because he stickies in one body shot and you die. Versus you have to hit a headshot or you have to hit 4 storm arrows. You know, like I'd much rather be the Cassidy in that situation. Plus he has roll to dodge. So I think in general, understanding your kit, understanding the strengths of Hanzo, and also understanding the opposing heroes, right? Junkrat's really bad at long range. I should try to fight him at long range. Cassidy, only okay at long range. I should try to fight him at long range, right? Somebody like Ashe, right? If Ashe doesn't have dynamite, yeah, absolutely fight her close range. You'll kill her super, super easily. Widow, fight her at close range. No problem. You know, there's lots of examples of heroes where you can fight them at close range and it's not a problem, right? There's plenty of tanks. For example, Ball's a really good example of somebody that you can blow up at close range. You can blow up Doom at close range if he's already used Punch, right? You can blow up Hog, right? Hog, when he's not looking at you, doesn't have Vape. Great target for you to just completely melt quickly with Storm Arrows. Sigma also doesn't actually do that much damage at close range, especially it doesn't have Rock, you know? Zarya, she doesn't have high energy. Yeah, blow her up at close range. Supports, you know, there are plenty of supports that you can kill very, very quickly at close range, right? Body shot followed by Storm Arrows, and you can kill them almost faster than they can react. You know, look at that Hanzo who killed you on first point as a great example of how to play Hanzo. You know, that was like a very textbook Hanzo kill that I almost never see you do, which is one body shot followed by Storm Arrow to instantly kill. Right? That should be bread and butter for you to like get a lot of your kills without having to rely on headshots. Headshots are great. Definitely go for headshots. But if you hit only the body shot, you definitely need to know how to follow up and kill them instantly. That's very, very important as playing DPS, right? That plus like the long code spells, like the low accuracy in the first round. I think you definitely, as you warmed up, you got significantly better at aiming. But the first round, like going 1 for 11 in your first life is like fight losing for sure. You just don't have nearly enough impact, and you had space and targets available to land hits. Okay, I think that's a lot. I will pause there. Hopefully this is helpful.